What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy NextGen720, and I'm back with another video. If you haven't checked out my last video, the link will be down below. Also, too, if you're a YouTuber and looking to partner your channel with the best network on YouTube by far, the link to Curse will be down in the description. On to today's video. So it's come out that Battlefield Hardline will not be 1080p 60 frames a second on either platform. You remember at E3, EA Dice took the stage with Sony, and they showed, they debuted Battlefield Hardlines, and Adam West said, "Hey, you can try the beta right now only on the PS4, 1080p, glorious 1080p, 60 frames a second." Talking about the Battlefield Hardline beta. Come to find out the game was 900p. So I'm like, dang. So I did a video, teaching. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna say like this: resolution doesn't mean anything to me. If it did, I would play a game on a PC, and it shouldn't you too either. You know what I mean? To console gamers, we shouldn't be arguing about frames per second and resolution. If that meant that much to you, you should be on a gaming PC. Honestly, I think that's silly as hell, man. We do this shit for shits and giggles. What's the dumbest shit ever? But the developers claim that both the Xbox One version and the PS4 version will both be 1080p 60 frames a second. So it's come out that the Xbox version will be 720p and the PS4 version will be 900p 60 frames a second. Now, how do you feel about this? Now, the developers claim that the Xbox and the PS4 version will be 1080p, and they're both they're falling short on their promises. Now, there hasn't been a 720p game on the Xbox One in a long time, and especially, I don't know if DICE were able to use the new dev kits that came out for the Xbox One. They gave the developers the tools to access the ESRAM. Because a lot of sites were running. I say, we can't believe anything these sites say, because the sites were saying that Microsoft gimped out on the ESRAM. It was too small. Come to find out from those leaked documents that came out back in January, from the new SDK kits for the Xbox One, that the developers didn't have the tools to access the ESRAM. And from those leaked documents, we found out that the Xbox One GPU, it's going with AMD's new technology. We can handle, it's a multitasking GPU. It can read and write and handle dual commands. We didn't know that at first, like I said before, so the specs of the Xbox One at launch, when people were saying that it had this type of GPU, this amount of shaders, no, it wasn't the case. Microsoft never said what GPU they had in it. So, like I said, in the day, but that's neither here nor there. I want to get back to talking about that. We're talking about the game only being 720p on the Xbox One. Now, how do you feel about this? Now, like I said, there hasn't been a game that's been on 720p on the Xbox One in a long time. Normally, the 90% of the Xbox One library is 1080p. The few games that aren't, it's 900p. Not that many, believe it or not. It's not as much as you think. Some of the biggest multiplats are the same resolution across the board. Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, yada yada yada. You know what I mean? But again, how do you feel about this? Now, I don't know if they were able to use the new dev kits on the Xbox One because the game was so far in development. The game comes out in a little while, if I'm not mistaken. And these new dev kits came out in September. Like, I don't know. But how do you feel about this? If you had the game pre-ordered at GameStop or wherever, Target, and you were planning on getting it, and, you were thinking how long this game was going to be 1080p, 60 frames a second, and come to find out it's only going to be 720p, will this sway your purchase? Now, me personally, I have the game already pre-ordered. Is resolution a big deal to me? No. Am I a little let down by the fact that they promised 1080p, 60 frames a second on all platforms? Yes, and I'm a little let down by that, yes. But I'm going to be honest with you. Even if the game came out to be 1080p, 60 frames a second on both platforms, even though I had the game pre-ordered, I don't think I would have got it anyway, because I'm a little burnt out with shooters. I think it was last generation, all the duties, all of this, that, and the other. I'm a little burnt out on first person shooters. I am. So, that's why I can't wait for the new Gears to come out. I'm more of a third person guy than first person anything. You know what I mean? I think that's going to put the battery back in my back before our shooter. So I can't wait for Gears to come out. I'm really excited what they're going to do with that game. But again, even if the game, trust me, I am a little let down by the whole resolution thing because goddamn 720p, like what are they using the Xbox, the original dev kits? Like come on, there hasn't been a game that's been 720p on the Xbox One for a long time. And even the Sony, like I said, even with like I said, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and we have to both be honest, be real with ourselves. The Xbox One and the PS4 are $300 and $400 machines, 350, 400, both $400 machines. They're not super computers. You know what I mean? We have to, I think, more or less lower our expectation of what we're gonna get. Now I know. Actually, that's another video. I'm not even gonna talk about that now. But let me know what do you think down in the comment section below. If you were going to buy this game, you already had it pre-ordered, and then it's come out that the game will not be 1080p, 60 frames a second on whatever platform of choice. Will you still be buying it? Will you be let down? Me, will not be getting. I am a little let down by the resolution thing. It's not, I'm saying, resolution is not that big of a deal, but if a developer comes out and claims something, I like to hold them to their word. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you claimed it was going to be this. Regardless, it doesn't even have to be about resolution. They can claim that he was going to give us a special type of weapon or a special feature and didn't get a chance to make it again. I will be let down by it. So it's not just about resolution. It's just me, But if you, just take me out the equation. The reason why I won't be getting it, like I said before, I am a little let down by the resolution, but me, I'm just a little burnt out with shooters. That's the God's honest truth. But you, in their YouTube land, will you be getting your copy? Still be picking it up, being that now it's not 1080p, glorious 1080p, 60 frames a second, like Adam Boyce would say. Now it's only going to be 900p on the PlayStation 4 and 720p on the Xbox One. Now let you Sony dudes tell it 900p is dog shit. I'm just saying. I don't understand it because there are several games that there are a few games on the PS4 that are 900p. Watch Dogs, UFC, The Last Battlefield, and you guys don't say anything about it. But how do you feel about it now? Are you a little let down? You know what I mean? Because they said that the game will be 1080p. Now the 720p, like they really, come on, man. Like, I don't know what's going on with that one. I'm just gonna be real. Like, damn, y'all don't even think, like, cause there have been so many improvements to the East Ram. You know what I mean? Gave back the 10% and all that stuff from the Kinect. Like, like there hasn't been a 720p on the Xbox One in a long time. So I really couldn't tell you what's good with that one. But anyway, this is your boy Next in 720. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Will you still be picking the game up? Me? No. I'm just a little tired of shooters. And I'm a little let down by the resolution thing because the developers promised it. But that's not the reason why I canceled my pre-order. I want to make that clear. All right. I'm out of here.